Hello, everybody. Let me welcome you all to a short discussion on the poem Before I Am Born, written by Mohanchand. Mohanchand is a bilingual Indian poet who writes poems both in English and Kannada. He was born in Hubli in the state of Karnataka. So, besides being a poet, he also writes articles on economics in some of the leading magazines in Canada. As a poet, he was very much influenced by the British poets, especially the romantic poets like Keats, Shelley, and even Shakespeare. Among the Indian writers, we find that Mohanchand was influenced by writers like Swami Vivekananda and Rabindranath Tagore. To Mohanchand, poetry is an art that demands the highest order of discipline in life. He has a collection of poems written in Kannada with the title Bagilagalu. He has also written many other works like O Jasmine, Courting Forever, After the Market Day, Puppies, Little Drops, To the Mother with Love, and so on. Now let us briefly look at the poem Before I Am Born. So this poem is narrated from the perspective of a child who is not yet born. This poem is a very short poem which consists of 4 stanzas of 4 lines each. And in each stanza, we find the poet highlighting the need for a clean and safe environment for the child who is yet to be born, so that he can lead a happy and healthy life in this world. The poem is actually a prayer or a plea which is made by the child to provide a clean environment for him. So this clean environment is not only for that child, but it will help the children who are born into this world in future. So the people here, they need to learn to live in harmony. So they should live in harmony with nature as well as with the people around them. But the sad thing here is there are a lot of divisions. People are divided in the name of religion and a lot of other things. So the poet, through this poem, believes that everybody can join together to form or to bring out a utopian society. And for that, he gives a lot of ideas to the people. So now let me begin the poem. I begin with the first 4 lines of the poem. It begins like this. Before I am born, break the walls between religions that make me small, that may block my power to reason and limit the horizon of my vision. So in the first 2 lines, as I have read earlier, right? Before I am born, break the walls between religions that make me small. So The child is very much aware of the barriers or the walls that is constructed by people. So he actually makes a prayer or he pleads to break the walls created by religions. The next two lines, he tells, that may block my power to reason and limit the horizon of my vision. So the child fears that these walls, which are created by religion or a lot of other things, might block his power to reason. It might obstruct his vision. So he wishes to be born into a place, into an environment which is free from all these obstacles. So these obstacles could be both physical as well as mental. And he also feels that religion makes people small and it makes them feel like slaves. So this is what the child feels, and hence he does not want to be born into a world where it is surrounded by all these walls. So now we move ahead with the second stanza. It reads like this: before I am born, filter the germs in genes, crush them, kill them by any means, before they mingle with the devil's unkind. Chase away the evils that breed in mind. So, in these lines, we find the child is asking to filter the germs in his genes. So the line reads like this: before I am born, filter the germs in genes. So he is asking to filter the germs in his genes before he is born into this world. The next line reads like this: crush them, kill them by any means before they mingle with the devil's unkind. So the child wants the germs in his genes to be crushed and killed before they mingle with the devil. So we find here that the poet is stressing on the need for a soul that is pure. Because once the mind gets corrupted with these kind of devilish thoughts, it is not very easy to come out of that. So, if this child is born into this kind of a world, he will not find it easy to overcome these obstacles. So, it is very important that the environment should be clean. His genes should be clean. So the germs should be out of his genes. So here it would mean that these germs in the environment, in the society, these devilish thoughts which might enter into the mind of the child's mother gets transferred into the child. So before he is born, the child wants to filter the germs in his genes. And when he is born, he wants a clean environment. So now we move on to the third stanza. So the poem reads like this: before I am born, green the earth, preen my home for my warm birth, clean the air and water, clean the sky, bright wherein I could live long and die. So in this stanza, from lines 9 to 12, we find that the poet talks more about the environment. So the child is asking for a green environment. Before I am born, green the earth. So he's asking the earth to be green when he is born. Preen my home for my warm birth. He also wants his home to be clean. And he pleads for a very good environment, okay, where the air is clean, the water is clean, the sky is clean. So he thinks that only if the air, water, and the sky is clean, he could make a good living, a better living on this earth. So the poet actually is presenting, or he is making a realistic picture of the earth, which is not favorable for a child to live. So it is difficult to live in this particular world where it is contaminated, which is impure, where the green trees are cut, the water is not clean, the air is not clean, everywhere it is pollution. So the poet is telling to plant more trees and make the environment clean so that it could be a better place for the child to live in. So now we come to the last 4 lines. Before I am born, send the beasts away, those who pretend the God may not sway, the scepter over the weak and innocent. Let the terror not strike the meek and silent. So, in the last part of the poem, lines 13 to 16, we find the child asking to send the beasts away before he is born. Before I am born, send the beasts away, those who pretend the God may not sway. So the child asks to send the beasts away, the ones who show their power over the weak and the innocent. So these beasts, they think that God is on their side. The God does not support the meek, the weak people, the innocent people. So the child or the poet here wants justice for the poor, the downtrodden. So the poor and the downtrodden, the ordinary human beings, they should be treated with respect. And they should not be controlled by power. So these people, these innocent people, they should be able to enjoy nature. They should be able to lead a relaxed, a free life in this environment. So, in this poem, before I am born, the child wants a lot of things to be done before he is born into this world. So, the child asks to break the walls. So here we have seen that these walls are man-made. So these walls made on the basis of religion, caste, color, even the national boundaries which differentiate nations. Even within a country, we have state boundaries which restrict people. There is a distinction between the haves and the have-nots. There is the rich and the poor. So the child wants all these walls to be broken. Then in the second stanza, we saw that the child wants to filter the germs. So we all know the kind of germs that exist on earth. There are a number of crimes. There are a lot of immoral acts. There is a lot of corruption everywhere. So the child wants to filter all these elements, and he understands that even these germs would have entered his genes. So he wants to filter the germs in his genes also. And further, the child wants to have a green earth. So he wants to protect the environment. He wants to have an earth which is clean, where he can breathe fresh air. And finally, the child asks to send the bees away. So these bees are those who are in power. So these people who are in power, who enjoy the power, they suppress the weak and the downtrodden. So the child wants to break all these walls before he is born into this world. So Mohanchand, the poet, through the poem Before I Am Born, he gives a very realistic picture of the world where the child is to be born. And through the child, the poet is trying to bring out many changes or many reforms that he wants to bring in the society. So he feels that if these changes are made, this world would become a better place, a good place. So this world will become a good place not only for the child who is going to be born now, but for all the children who are going to be born in future. So that is what Mohanchand feels. He is thinking of an utopia. So that is what he feels when he writes this poem, Before I Am Born. And this is what he wants to express through this child. So thank you very much for your patient viewing. I hope you have enjoyed this video lecture. And let's meet again with another lecture soon. Thank you.